Welcome, everyone. Noah here on the Dynamics Weekly newsletter and podcast. This is a series of podcasts about Dynamics Communities Community Summit, which is scheduled for October 19th through the 23rd in Orlando, Florida. We'll be talking with Academy class and session presenters leading up to the conference. And today we have Malcolm McAuley with us. Malcolm, how you doing today?
I am very well. Noah, how are you?
I'm doing great. Everything is nice and sunny in Pensacola. Summertime is well underway here.
Beautiful. I'm jealous.
Yeah, and you'll have some Florida weather when you come down in October.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. It seems like a long way away, but it's just around the corner, frankly.
I know June's here already, just 2 days away, and Summit will be here in no time at all. And you've been to Summit before, many of those you said, and so you would have been to Summit in Orlando before.
I have. I've been to a couple of summits in Orlando and some of the other locations, and always a big fan. I mean, that Gaylord facility is phenomenal. So I always look forward to the opportunity to wander in and amongst the evergreen Everglades areas as you walk through there. It's a beautiful facility.
It is a great place to go. Take your family if you get a chance. I think they even have alligators in the big part where you
They
first walk
do.
through.
Absolutely. That's always a highlight when people are like, "Oh, where do you go?" And I show them and I have pictures of them on my phone and I'm like, "Look, they're legit alligators roaming around inside this facility. It's wild." Yeah.
I know. So it brings new meaning to don't feed the wildlife.
Yes. True story. Yeah.
So you are a returning attendant for Summit, and you have presented before as well, I'm sure.
I have. Yeah, I've this will be I'm pretty sure this will be my 10th summit over the years and I've presented a number of sessions. I think we're up over 20 or 25 or so over the years. A big fan. I mean, I've attended many sessions and garnered so much information and knowledge from people and built friendships, frankly, with people that I've gone to summit and other events with. And so I'm a huge fan of the concept of community and just what it does to strengthen everybody's ability to use Microsoft's language to achieve more in our day to day.
Awesome. And I love the topics that you're covering when you get down there to Summit. Your first one is going to be on October the 18th, which is on the Saturday before Summit starts. And it's titled Create Your First Four Copilot Agents in a Day. It's a whole day deal. We'll talk about that for a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to that one. So that's myself and a couple of my colleagues. And essentially the concept stems from as we all know, the rapid innovation of just Copilot as a tool, the idea behind agentic behavior and what a Copilot agent is and how it works, it's overwhelming for a lot of people, and people generally just are struggling with where do I even begin? And so the notion of this is let's take a full day and break it into a couple of chunks and build out some agents from fairly simplistic to a little bit more complex. And while we're doing that, start to dive into some of the skills that you need, some of the things you need to think about, some of the strategy behind what it is you're doing. And the goal really being to hopefully give people the tools and tips they need to walk out of that room confident to go back to their workstation and throw together an agent and start playing with the tool and seeing its power and what it can actually accomplish.
And so I've used Copilot on my workstation here and the laptop and everything, but I've never used Copilot Studio. Do people find it a very easy application to jump into?
My answer is probably biased, so I think those who have a little bit of technical knowledge are fine. But like all things Microsoft, they're really working on making it accessible to the average maker, right? I think developer is a term we hear a lot, and
Mhm.
so they've done a really good job just essentially guiding you through the process. In fact, you can use Copilot to build your Copilot, and so you essentially use natural language prompts to say, here's what I want to do, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, and it'll start putting the pieces of the puzzle together for you. And then you can take over the reins and kind of refine it and add topics and actions and all kinds of great things from there. So I think they're doing a great job making I guess you'd say democratizing AI, right? They're democratizing the ability to make AI do the things we need it to do in our day to day to help us be more efficient.
And when did you have your start working with Copilot? Have you any particular year or task that really led you to it?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's funny. It feels like we've been around it for a long, long time, but it's really not that old. And so, as an organization, we're a partner organization, and so we've been, we'll say, playing with Copilot since its early stages and kind of trying to get familiar with it, and just generally with AI, and kind of dabbling in its different capabilities and doing different things. So I would say for the last, I'm going to say, year and a half or so. I think Copilot's maybe just itself is a little over a year, maybe almost two now. But in terms of playing with AI, we've been using it a lot to help sort of summarize key things, whether it's just meeting content and transcripts or giving it some, actual content. Hey, we have this list of requirements and we want to start to synthesize that and create some user journeys and user stories out of that information. So it's been really, really valuable for that kind of stuff.
And the people who attend, when they go through and they build the agents with you, you've got 4 examples of agents you're going to walk them through building. They're building that in Copilot Studio, which is going to be their version of Copilot Studio. So they'll have that after they leave class to keep, right?
Yeah, yeah, they'll be able to follow along and kind of walk through the click sequence as we go through it. We'll be demonstrating on screen and kind of guiding through, and then if they choose to follow along and do their own thing, that they will definitely have that. They'll be able to leverage that and use it. But again, we've picked a couple of examples that we think are pretty commonplace. But
Mhm.
our goal is to empower people to walk out of that room thinking about other options, and we'll have a bit of discussion in the room as well, just around, hey, now that you know what we've covered here, what else might you think about doing? And we're big fans of, as I mentioned, community, and so one of the biggest things that we see is people in those rooms, they benefit from the content and the presentations, of course, but that interaction in the room with other attendees is equally as valuable. So we'd love to see them learn from each other and with each other as they go through and brainstorm ideas of how they might leverage these tools.
And this is tagged as the program level as a beginner, but it always helps with the little information you've got on the website. Um, some documentation from Microsoft that people can review before they go to class, although they don't have to because you walk them through all the exercises, all the steps, and they've
Correct.
got Copilot to help them as well.
Correct. That is right. Yeah.
All right, so that is Saturday, October 18th. The name of that one, Create Your First 4 Copilot Agents in a Day. That is um, whole day event, 8 to 5 o'clock. And then you have the next day, October 19th, the Sunday, uh, for a class called Modern Collaboration, Elevate the Customer Experience with Microsoft 365.
Yeah, really excited about this one. We've done versions of this in the past and sessions on this content. So as an organization, we specialize both on the Dynamics CE side of things, so sales, field service, customer service, but we also have an entire practice devoted to the Microsoft 365 or modern collaboration work. And so we see a tremendous amount of value in having a session like this at Summit because the tools are so intertwined today, right? There's
They
not
are.
many
Yep.
people who don't, come to your workstation, and most people, at the beginning of their day, they open up Outlook, they open up Teams, potentially SharePoint or an intranet, and then their CRM systems and their ERP tools and all those things. But these are standard operating tools that they use every single day. And there's so much connection between them and there's so much you can do with them that I think people lose sight of in the midst of their day-to-day busy schedules. And so the goal here is really to help people understand again how to elevate the customer experience, right? When we think about it, all of our businesses are we're all working to serve our customers. And so part of doing that is making sure that you've got the information you need at your fingertips and you've got things condensed and you've knocked down data silos and you've got access to the information you need to best serve your customer when you need it. And so we'll spend a lot of time in that session, another full day session. So a lot of content, but we'll spend a lot of time kind of walking around the various capabilities and how they all work together to support you in your journey to support the customer.
Awesome. And both those classes, that's the weekend before Summit. People can go ahead and register. They can go to these classes without having to stick around for Summit, although sticking around for Summit is a great uh, um, addition to a trip down there because you get the classes and all the networking and additional education during the sessions for Summit as well.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's your two classes there, and you do have another session listed. It doesn't have a date or time yet, but the name of it was seven habits for AI transformation success.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty a critical one. We expect a decent turnout to this. I know a lot of sessions are going to be revolving around things like Copilot and just AI in general. One of the things that we pride ourselves on here at our organization is the importance of having a plan and the importance of making a plan and then executing against that plan and trying to keep some guardrails on what you're trying to do. It is so easy to become overwhelmed with all the features and functions and tools. And so building out a plan when it comes to specifically AI is really, really critical because there's a lot of rabbit trails, a lot of avenues you could go down. And we think it's really important to make sure that your organization not only has a plan, but that you actually have a specific plan around how you're going to maximize these tools, right? It's one thing to say we're going to use it. It's another thing to set some targets and goals and define what AI transformation success actually is. And so we've been working with organizations on that topic, and so we've transformed that into a session that we hope would give people some insight into how do I do that? How do I build a plan to prepare for or navigate through the waters of AI as it unfolds in our organizations?
And even though we don't have a date or time yet for this one, this is going to be during Summit, so it's either going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and it's probably like
Yes.
a 1 hour session.
Yeah, it should be a 1 hour. I don't know much more than you do at this point. I know they're the schedule there with over 600 educational sessions. It's a lot to coordinate, and so
Yes,
I
yes.
imagine that they've got all the work going on behind the scenes to kind of figure out what's going to happen when and where. But yeah, I would imagine a 60-minute session that will cover all of those, and we always try to bake in a bit of Q&A into those sessions as well. So if you're going to join me for that, please come prepared with some questions and discussion items because I mentioned it earlier. It's one thing to learn from the presenters, but it's also really important to engage with those around you. So maximize your time at events like Summit and leverage the community for what it is, a very fantastic group of people who come together to share knowledge.
It is great opportunity to get together. Malcolm, for people who have questions for you before class or after class or the sessions, are you using LinkedIn? Are you focusing on communication through the mobile app or some other means?
Good question. So I will definitely be using the mobile app when it comes out and is starting to ramp up. LinkedIn is always a great place, so by all means, look me up on there. You see you should see my profile there. There's not a lot of Malcolms out there, so by all means, look me up. If you can't find me, look up C5 Insight, and I'm here. We can certainly chat with you.
Well, being with C5 Insight, does C5 Insight have a booth in the expo hall?
We definitely will. Yeah, we're excited about it. We lined that up and secured our spot before last summit even ended because it's such a fantastic event. We're very excited to be there again.
Awesome. Good location, right at the front door.
Yeah, I actually don't know exactly. So I leave that to our team. Full transparency, I don't know exactly where our booth is going to be, but I know that our team was very excited when they booked it last year. We were going to have a same size booth, so a bit bigger than their standard small one, and always looking forward to the traffic that we get. And I know that many of the events, but Summit does a good job at making sure that we've got some dedicated time to interact with people in on the showroom floor.
Yep. And if you are brand new to Summit, it's a great conference, a great opportunity for learning about the different products, meeting new people who work with these products on a daily basis, uh, networking with those people so that after you leave Summit, you have some way to contact them and say, hey, have you ever dealt with this situation? What was a quick way to fix it? So it's a great networking opportunity at Summit, the classes, all these sessions. And there's gonna be a lot of people. I think that is it more than 5,000 people?
Yeah, my guess is I don't know the official number goal, but based on the past performance and since COVID happened, it's been starting to amp back up. I wouldn't be surprised if we're close to 7,000 this year, which would be amazing to
That
see.
is a lot.
Yeah.
But if anybody's worried about crowds, don't let that deter you, because it's a big venue where we're having this conference. So you've got the hotel at the front, the big wide open atrium with the alligators. And then the back part of the resort, you've got all the different meeting rooms and the expo hall. So it's a very large area that's really spreads up all those people pretty well. So
Agreed.
easy to
Yeah.
navigate. I guess it was 2 years ago we went to Orlando for that one.
Yeah, it's a
It seems
beautiful,
like I've
beautiful
been there
facility.
twice before.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I've been there down there a few times. It's a beautiful facility and you're spot on. There's lots of room, lots of space. So whether you're a big people person and you like to engage, I mean, certainly a great place for that. And if you're not, that's okay too. There's lots of opportunity to tuck away in a corner and kind of read a book or chill out during downtimes amongst a conference. But if you're coming to an event like this, it is my opinion. Like I said, I've got people around the world that I consider friends that I've met at events like Summit or others, and it's just a fantastic place to make those connections. You mentioned the connection opportunity. There's been many times that I've reached out to people that I've met at these to say, "Hey, I'm exactly what the scenario you laid out. I'm running into this challenge, and I'm not really sure what's going on, or am I the only one who's ever done this? Did I mess something up?" And most times you'll get back responses from people saying, absolutely not, and here's what I did to fix it. Like I've done that. I ran into that too. And that help is invaluable. So come and make some connections and get to know some other people in the community.
Definitely, and it's a very large community. It's very welcoming community. I've been working in the Microsoft arena since 2001, mainly with ERP solutions and financial reporting and budgeting. But you meet people, you see them again every year, and even at different conferences. So it's really a community that is very um, open for everybody to join. Don't worry about not knowing anybody. It's easy to meet people uh, at these events.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you my only major piece of advice. I've given several pieces already, but the biggest one, wear comfortable shoes,
Yeah,
because you're going to do a lot of walking. So be comfortable.
yep. Awesome, Malcolm. A lot of great information there. You know that you got your two classes. Create your first 4 Copilot agents in a day on that Saturday the 18th. On that Sunday, the 19th, you've got Modern Collaboration, Elevate the Customer Experience with Microsoft 365. Both those are Academy classes already open for registration. And those are registration uh, outside of Summit. So if you've registered for Summit, you do need to register for the classes separately so that you can attend those classes. And then sometime during Summit, you've got that 1 hour session for 7 habits for AI transformation success. So you're going to have a busy week down there, Malcolm.
I can't
Uh,
wait. I'm excited, and I'm equally as excited not only to deliver those sessions, but also then to get the opportunity to go and attend some myself as a learner. That's always a great benefit of being down there. There's amazing sessions I mentioned earlier. They say there's over 600 educational sessions, so there's lots to choose from. Great opportunity to learn about tools maybe you're not familiar with. I even tend to go into some of the ERP sessions sometimes, even though I can hardly spell ERP. I go in and try and learn a little bit about what they offer. So.
yep. Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you down there. I'll be down there. So I may even have a class I'm teaching on Saturday or Sunday, I think. So if I can juggle it, I'll stop by and see you as well,
Love it.
and for the sessions. So thank you so much for sharing all the information. We look forward to seeing you down there in Orlando.
Likewise, thanks so much for having me, Noah. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. And if you haven't booked things yet for Orlando, check it out and register for the Summit 2025.